Namaste, Dhanavad Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're also paying our humble Dhanavad Pranam to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for providing us this wonderful commentary and translation of Bhagavatam. And following the guidance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we are praying to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has told us that unless we can understand something about Radharani through our study of Bhagavatam, then our study has been wasted if we have not done that. Yadi sevā-vañcitāḥ yasyāḥ kṛpayā vayaṃ labhema sarvaṃ prāpnumaḥ prayojanaṃ dhāmni śrī-bhagavat pade Kṛṣṇa-sambandhi sarvaṃ ca Yadi jānīmahe tutam Aṣṭādaśasu sahasreṣu ślokānāṃ bhāgavat-oktiṣu Rādhārānīṃ na vindāmaḥ nishphalam bhagavat adhyayanam radhikaya kripam vina vyartasyat sarva-pariśramaḥ. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham, and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Rādhārānīṃ within the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, all of our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing our reading today. From Canto 5, Chapter 14, Text 29. Karachid Ishvarasya Bhagavato Vishnoschakrat Paramanavadi Dvi Parardha Pavarga Kalopalakshanat Parivaritina Vayasaram Hasa Harata Abramatrina Stambhadinam Bhutanam Animishato Mishatam Vitrashta Hridayastam Evishvaram Kalachakra Nijayudam Sakshad Bhagavantam Yagya Purusham Anadritya Pakanda Devata Kanka Gridra Baka Vata Praya Arya Samaya Parihrita Sankit Yena Bidate. The personal weapon used by Lord Krishna, the disc, is called Hari Chakra, the disc of Hari. This chakra is the wheel of time. It expands from the beginning of the atoms up to the time of Brahma's death, and it controls all activities. It is always revolving and spending the lives of the living entities, from Lord Brahma down to an insignificant blade of grass. Thus, one changes from infancy to childhood to youth and maturity, and thus one approaches the end of life. It is impossible to check this wheel of time. This wheel is very exacting because it is the personal weapon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the conditioned soul, fearing the approach of death, wants to worship someone who can save him from imminent danger, yet he does not care for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose weapon is the indefatigable time factor. The conditioned soul instead takes shelter of a man-made god described in unauthorized scriptures. Such gods are like buzzards, vultures, herons, and crows. Vedic scriptures do not refer to them. Imminent death is like the attack of a lion, and neither vultures, buzzards, crows, nor herons can save one from such an attack. One who takes shelter of unauthorized man-made gods cannot be saved from the clutches of death. Purport. It is stated, Harim vina mritim na taranti. No one can save himself from the cruel hands of death without being favored by Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita it is stated, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Whoever fully surrenders unto Krishna can be saved from the cruel hands of material nature. The conditioned soul, however, sometimes wants to take shelter of a demigod, man-made god, pseudo-incarnation, or bogus swami or yogi. All these cheaters claim to follow religious principles, and all this has become very popular in the age of Kali. There are many pashandis who, without referring to the Shastras, pose themselves as incarnations, and foolish people follow them. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has left behind Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has left behind him Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Not referring to these authorized scriptures, rascals take shelter of man-made scriptures and try to compete with Lord Krishna. That is the greatest difficulty one encounters when trying to promote spiritual consciousness in human society. The Krishna consciousness movement is trying its best to bring people back to Krishna consciousness in its pure form. But the pashandis and atheists who are cheaters are so numerous that sometimes we become perplexed and wonder how to push this movement forward. In any case, we cannot accept the unauthorized ways of so-called incarnations, gods, cheaters, and bluffers who are described here as crows, vultures, buzzards, and herons. Text 30. Yadha pakandibir atma-vañcitāḥ tar uru-vañcito brahma-kulam samavasams tesham shilam upanayāyanadi shrauta smarta karman usta nena bhagavato yagya puruṣasyar danam evatad arochayan sudra kulam bhajate nigamachare sudito yasya mituni bhava kutumba baranam yata vanara jate. The pseudo-swamis, yogis, and incarnations who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead are known as pashandis. They themselves are fallen and cheated because they do not know the real path of spiritual advancement, and whoever goes to them is certainly cheated in his turn. When one is thus cheated, he sometimes takes shelter of the real followers of Vedic principles, Brahmanas, or those in Krishna consciousness, who teach everyone how to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the Vedic rituals. However, being unable to stick to these principles, these rascals again fall down and take shelter among Sudras, who are very expert in making arrangements for sex indulgence. Sex is very prominent among animals like monkeys, and such people who are enlivened by sex may be called descendants of monkeys. Purport. By fulfilling the process of evolution from the aquatics to the animal platform, a living entity eventually reaches the human form. The three modes of material nature are always working in the evolutionary process. Those who come to the human form through the quality of sattva gun were cows in their last animal incarnation. Those who come to the human form through the quality of rajagun were lions in their last animal incarnation. And those who come to the human form through the quality of tamagun were monkeys in their last animal incarnation. In this age, those who come through the monkey species are considered by modern anthropologists like Darwin to be descendants of monkeys. We receive information herein that those who are simply interested in sex are actually no better than monkeys. Monkeys are very expert in sexual enjoyment, and sometimes sex glands are taken from monkeys and placed in the human body so that a human being can enjoy sex in old age. In this way, modern civilization has advanced. Many monkeys in India were caught and sent to Europe so that their sex glands could serve as replacements for those of old people. Those who actually descend from monkeys are interested in expanding their aristocratic families through sex. In the Vedas, there are also certain ceremonies, especially meant for sexual improvement and promotion to higher planetary systems, where the demigods are enjoying sex. The demigods are also very much inclined toward sex because that is the basic principle of material enjoyment. First of all, the conditioned soul is cheated by so-called swamis, yogis, and incarnations when he approaches them to be relieved of material miseries. When the conditioned soul is not satisfied with them, he comes to devotees and pure brahmanas who try to elevate him for final liberation from material bondage. However, the unscrupulous conditioned soul cannot rigidly follow the principles prohibiting illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. Thus he falls down and takes shelter of people who are like monkeys. In the Krishna consciousness movement, these monkey disciples, being unable to follow the strict regulative principles, sometimes fall down and try to form societies based on sex. This is proof that such people are descendants of monkeys, as confirmed by Darwin. In this verse, it is therefore clearly stated, Yatā vanhara jatehe. Text 31. Tatrapi naravarodha svarina viharan ati kṛpana buddhir anyonya mukha nirikshana dina gramya karmanaiva vishmrta kalavadihi. In this way, the descendants of the monkeys intermingle with each other, and they are generally known as Sudras. Without hesitating, they live and move freely, not knowing the goal of life. They are captivated simply by seeing the faces of one another, which remind them of sense gratification. They are always engaged in material activities known as gramya karma, and they work hard for material benefit. Thus they forget completely that one day their small lifespans will be finished, and they will be degraded in the evolutionary cycle. Purport. Materialistic people are sometimes called Sudras or descendants of monkeys due to their monkey-like intelligence. They do not care to know how the evolutionary process is taking place, nor are they eager to know what will happen after they finish their small human lifespan. This is the attitude of Sudras. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, this Krishna consciousness movement, is trying to elevate Sudras to the Brahmana platform so that they will know the real goal of life. Unfortunately, being overly attached to sense gratification, materialists are not serious in helping this movement. Instead, some of them try to suppress it. Thus, it is the business of monkeys to disturb the activities of the Brahmanas. The descendants of monkeys completely forget that they have to die, and they are very proud of scientific knowledge and the progress of material civilization. The word gramya karmana indicates activities meant only for the improvement of bodily comforts. Presently, all human society is engaged in improving economic conditions and bodily comforts, people are not interested in knowing what is going to happen after death, nor do they believe in the transmigration of the soul. When one scientifically studies the evolutionary theory, one can understand that human life is a junction where one may take the path of promotion or degradation, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitrin yanti pitrivrata, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti mad yajinopimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. In this life, we have to prepare ourselves for promotion to the next life. Those who are in the mode of Rajagun are generally interested in being promoted to the heavenly planets. Some unknowingly are degraded to lower animal forms. Those in the mode of goodness can engage in devotional service, and after that they can return home back to Godhead. Yanti mad yajinopimam. That is the real purpose of human life. This Krishna consciousness movement is trying to bring intelligent human beings to the platform of devotional service. Instead of wasting time trying to attain a better position in material life, one should simply endeavor to return home back to Godhead. Then all problems will be solved. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17, Shrinvatam sva-kata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantasto hyabhadrani vidhunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma or Super Soul, in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. One simply has to follow the regulative principles, act like a brahmana, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, and read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, one purifies himself of the baser material modes, tamagun and rajagun, and becoming freed from the greed of these modes, can attain complete peace of mind. In this way, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and one's relationship with him, and thus be promoted to the highest perfection, siddhim paramam gata. Text 32. Kvachid dharmavad aihi karteshu griheshu ramsyanyata vanara sutta dara vatsalo vyavaya. Just as a monkey jumps from one tree to another, the conditioned soul jumps from one body to another. As the monkey is ultimately captured by the hunter and is unable to get out of captivity, the conditioned soul, being captivated by momentary sex pleasure, becomes attached to different types of bodies and is encaged in family life. Family life affords the conditioned soul a festival of momentary sex pleasure, and thus he is completely unable to get out of the material clutches. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.9.29, Vishaya kalu sarvatasyat. Bodily necessities, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, are all very easily available in any form of life. It is stated here that Vanara, or monkey, is very much attracted to sex. Each monkey keeps at least 24 wives, and he jumps from one tree to another to capture the female monkeys. Thus he immediately engages in sexual intercourse. In this way, the monkey's business is to jump from one tree to another and enjoy sex with his wives. The conditioned soul is doing the same thing, transmigrating from one body to another and engaging in sex. He thus completely forgets how to become free from the clutches of material engagement. Sometimes the monkey is captured by a hunter who sells its body to doctors so that its glands can be removed for the benefit of another monkey. All this is going on in the name of economic development and improved sex life. Text 33. Evam advanyavar rundano mrityu gaja payat tamasi giri kandara praye. In this material world, when the conditioned soul forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and does not care for Krishna consciousness, he simply engages in different types of mischievous and sinful activities. He is then subjected to the threefold miseries, and out of fear of the elephant of death, he falls into darkness found in a mountain cave. Into the darkness found in a mountain cave. Purport. Everyone is afraid of death, and however strong a materialistic person may be, when there is a disease and old age, one must certainly accept death's notice. The conditioned soul becomes very morose to receive notice of death. His fear is compared to the fear experienced upon entering a dark mountain cave, and death is compared to a great elephant. Text 34. Kvachichita vatadhyaneka daivika bhauti katmyanam dukhanam pratini varane kalpo duranta vishaya vishana aste. The conditioned soul suffers many miserable bodily conditions, such as being affected by severe cold and strong winds. He also suffers due to the activities of other living beings and due to natural disturbances. When he is unable to counteract them and has to remain in a miserable condition, he naturally becomes very morose because he wants to enjoy material facilities. And thus ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 35 on Friday. Before we conclude today, were there any comments or questions from the assembled devotees? I was just thinking, I remember in another place, I believe it must have been in Bhagavatam, in a purport, Srila Prabhupada, he made a statement about that the body, like basically proof that we can all relate to about why the body by itself is disgusting. Right, because when we hear that, we like, oh, they're too harsh. That's not true. The body's not disgusting. It's beautiful, right? But yesterday, right, a dead animal. we found a dead animal somewhere at my parents' house, and we were disgusted by it immediately, right? And it's no different if we happen to come across a dead human body. We would also be quite disgusted. We wouldn't say, oh, look how beautiful. Right? So Srila Prabhupada used that example, I remember. we are disgusted and repulsed by a body without life, without soul. We're completely repulsed by it. Immediately. Not thinking about it, not meditating about the deeper meaning of it. We're just immediately repulsed by it. That's the body without life. Only when the life is there, only when the soul is animating the body, do we really have some attraction to it, find some beauty to it, have some appreciation for it. But without that soul, without that life, we are repulsed by the body. Even if we have a loved one that passes away and we're treating their body very nicely, of course, because we're still thinking about the life that was in that body. But the body itself, we're not going to, if we are sane, we're not going to start like cuddling the passed away body, only if we're going through some kind of a grieving, right? In movies, when someone just passes away, maybe we'll still be hugging the body without the life because we're going through that grieving process of still thinking about the person who is alive. But the body itself, we are repulsed by.
So I have to make a comment.
Please do.
Because I was the one that first saw it.
Yeah.
I'm not repulsed. Well, it's just because now I know we gotta deal with it, and it's lifeless form, and it's just a challenge to. It can't just walk away on its own. We got to deal with it, So repulsed. Yeah. Actually, they're here for the window, so I want to continue this conversation later, but I think it's because it scares you. You got to deal with it. I don't want to look at it. The poor thing that it suffer. There's a whole lot of things that went through my mind when I saw it. I got to go. He's knocking at the door.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you a little bit.
How about you, Shivamji? Can you relate to that?
I used to give example to different people that no matter how much affection you have for a person, but you won't sleep with their dead body the next day.
That's the example Prabhupada gave, right? Yeah.
Zero. I copied from that one.
Yeah. That's a very good example.
Like in this case, we have affection also, but we still will not sleep with them
Yes.
if they are close friends also.
Yeah. The life has to be there. The soul has to be there. That's the thing that we're having some attraction to. Okay. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Prapanitirtha Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees. Sama Bhakti Veda Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Mona Mai Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Sham Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 Bol. Jai Śrīmatī Tulsi Maharani Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Jai Bhakti Shivam Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai Krishna Krishna Prabhu Ji Ki Jai.
Jai Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.